Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new ChrissyBoy182 YouTube video, and today we're doing a gaming video which we haven't done in years. Also something I haven't done in years is play Forza Horizon 1, and today we're going to be playing it. It's now 14 years old and we're going to see the differences between 1 and 5, and I think there's a lot. Now the campaign in 1 is arguably a lot better, and well, it's not really an argument at all, is it, but it's much better, and obviously the graphics in 1 are going to be a lot worse than they are in 5. And now there's a lot of people who say if Forza Horizon graphics haven't really changed, but over the course of this series we're going to find out, and you're going to see just how much they have changed, because they really have, and everybody who says that is lying. Alright, let's do this. Sorry if you can hear the Xbox 360 in the back of this video, because it is very loud. It's like a jet engine. Alright, so first impressions of jumping back into the Xbox 360 as it is this controller that feels very weird, and also it can't seem to stay connected for more than 30 seconds. I can confirm to you all today that at a very sad time I have to announce that my Xbox 360 controller has just died. But don't worry, we do have another one, and hopefully that one's going to work. But this is crazy, I forgot you had to do this. You have to select the device that you want to store your data on. Which is crazy. Oh my word, we're back. And single player, obviously, because we can't do multiplayer. I'm going to fix it one day, maybe down the line, when Forza Horizon 6 is out. If we've got a couple of weeks to wait, I'm going to jump in, try and fix all my online, and we'll try and get back into online, but it's all a bit broken at the moment. I mean, the vibes of this game are just so much better than the new one, aren't they? Ooh, that's a nice little hint. Recaro Rush. What do we get in the new game? Horizon Rush. Just a funny little Easter egg, isn't it? Right, so here we go. We're officially back. And you can't even zoom out on the map because it's that small. Like, when you look at the size of this map, it's crazy. And we're in. Now let's turn off this music before I get banned. I love the vibe of this game, like even down to the controls, and here we are. I mean, the car models really haven't changed at all. But just look at how the graphics are so different. But you know what, it's kind of nice. I mean, I don't think you could sit down for as long of a playing session on this game now as you can on the new ones after seeing the new ones with their graphics. I think you probably get a bit of a headache. But I have to say, the basics of this game, they really haven't changed at all. Like, when you look at the HUD, it's very similar in design. It's just obviously got a little bit better. I like this. I just love this. I love how it feels, like the squeaking of the tyres when you brake really hard. The sounds are definitely better. Yeah, why not? Sign me up.
You're sure making progress in this wristband, but don't forget there's
See, as you can see, if you read, it says US cars only, and it has to be C-Class. So because I'm only around C, so in the new game, it'll be locked again. So because that I'm only in a C-Class wristband, say in Forza Horizon 6, I'll only be able to use C-Class cars. So this is the same sort of vibe. We're going to get to feel it for now, and this is going to be cool.
Your car isn't eligible for this event, but you have one in your
An
garage
old Mustang. This is
If you
great.
wanna
This is the full vibe. US map, Mustang, this is it. This is one of my favourite cars, and I really hope to own one when I'm older, so yeah. Hopefully YouTube will work out and we can get one and have one on the channel, but this is going to be really fun. Definitely the loading times haven't changed. Despite Xboxes getting faster, these loading times have really not changed at all. Flipping heck. I just love the vibe. Like, you got the boom mics, people doing interviews, whereas now it's just the cars roll up and you press a button and you go. This is just so much nicer. Now, I haven't played this game in a long time. I haven't used this controller in a long time, so this could go wrong.
Just see if you can finish the race.
Bit rude. Alright, here we go. Whack it off the rev limiter. Like, look at this for a vibe. This is just so vibey. Oi, get out of my way. No. I really don't have the speed for this, I have to admit. Get back here. Oh, we got pace. Oh! There we go. Down the inside. Come on. It's GT86. I forget that the GT86 is that old. That it's in the game. That's crazy. Don't worry about getting podium. Come back here. Get out my way. Get out my way. That's it. Get out my way. My Mustang will always prevail. Ow. They're a bit bigger than me, but we've got through. No, the last time I played this game was about 10, so the difficulty might be really easy. 216 rows. The new one's got like 660 or something. That's crazy. That's what I said about map size. But again, the HUD really hasn't changed. Like your positions, your progress, your speedo, your skill point scores or anything. But we've won. That's all that matters. Take that. Come on. I mean, the whole vibe. I can't stop saying it enough. The whole vibe of this game is crazy. But it's nuts to think that this game. 20 points for me to go. But it's nuts to think that this game is 14 years old now. That is nuts. It came out in 2012. I was 5 when this game came out. Just listen to that sound. You can tell the engine sounds in the old games were much better. Inside the cabin looks really detailed. You know, this was a revolutionary game for its time, right? There was nothing like it. We had Forza Motorsport on a lot of racing games, but we had no really like open worlds exploration. Exploration games like this. You know, this is crazy for its time. And it still lives up today, to be honest. And it's still almost a benchmark for every Forza Horizon game. Like, they get better with graphics, they look better, they have more cars, more roads, bigger maps. But this is always the benchmark.
Hey, you've just found a Horizon speed zone. We've placed these all over Colorado, and they're just like the speed trap I showed you earlier. But the difference here is that your average speed is measured from start to finish.
I also like the fact that you're on like a phone call with someone the whole time. If you get what I mean, like I like the fact that it feels like you're always being coached by someone. Whereas in the new games, you've got Anna, but everyone who talks in the game is like really like la 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 la, you know. Whereas this one is a lot more serious, and I like that. I think if they remastered this game, it would go like triple platinum. I just think this is such a good game, and it was the starting point for everything. I'd like to say I wasn't paying attention there. Gonna have to ring my insurance. Oops. Or I could just run away. Sorry, this boat doesn't like running away. It's like a boat. A land yacht. Whoa! Oh no. Oh no. Cut the cameras. But then when you look at the jump between 1 and 2, like this sort of menu is so different. You know, we got like a lot of new stuff in the game now, and it jumps straight away. But this was like what they needed, I think. This was just like the absolutely insane starting point for everything. Forza Horizon 1 was the first ever festival racing game as well, so it introduced this whole new sort of concept, I suppose, that was such a success that it's continued for nearly 2 decades. Like, obviously Forza Motorsport was already a raging success, but Forza Horizon really just gave them a whole new dynamic that made them different from the rest. Like, when you think about the other games that are out at the time, there was nothing really like this. And obviously now there's things like the Crew, and there's, well, not anymore because it's dead, but but there's so many different games now that are so different. But you know, there's so many racing games out there that are like Forza Horizon now that get compared. But this was really sort of the pioneer, I suppose, the founding father of a very like festival racing game. It was inspired by real life festivals like Coachella, which is quite cool. So they actually made it. That's like, I think, gives it that realistic feel, that really like traditional festival feel. I keep knocking this stupid rear spoiler off, but it's what gave it that special feel, you know, and it really does. And you can tell the soul and the spirit of Horizon hasn't changed between now and Forza Horizon 5 and even 6. You know, this feels very, very similar bar the graphics in the driving experience. the way everything is sort of operated around the festival, around the roads. You know, it all feels very similar. You can tell every game's a Horizon game, and this has a very distinct feel from everything else. It's an arcade game, but it doesn't feel, so it's unrealistic. It doesn't feel like, say for example, Need for Speed, where it feels very, I don't know, it just feels a little bit too overly exaggerated, whereas this feels absolutely perfect. Now, I really started playing Forza Horizon games with Forza Horizon 2 when I got my Xbox 360 and it came in a bundle. But I bought Forza Horizon 1 a little bit later on, and I just love it. You know, it's so good. Let's pull in here. Let's just pull into someone's beer garden. That's something I find cool about Forza Horizon, is you could just like randomly pull into somebody's just pull into some random place that you shouldn't be able to. Okay, so continuing on with the theme of how the game feels to drive around in and stuff. In more recent games, they've heavily gone along with the arcade theme, right? Whereas in this game, what they've gone along with was it was based on the Forza Motorsport 4 tech, so it feels a lot more sim-like, which I kind of like. It makes the game have a whole different feel. Yes, the foundations are there, but this game feels sort of totally different, I suppose. And I kind of wish they'd bring that back, because this feels a lot more fun, I think. Like, you could just drive around and it's fun. Oh. Sorry, Michael Scott. But the controls haven't changed at all. These are still the same controls. Let's pull it up here. Out to one of these Horizon outposts. I don't actually know what's in my garage. What an iconic car, by the way. What a song, by the way. I know I can't really show it too long. But what a TikTok. At the moment, this is a TikTok sensation. Oh my word. One thing doesn't change though. Forza Aero is still just as bad as it always has been. You know what? Let's do it. Now, there's obviously 100 new rims in the new game. In this one, we've basically just barely got 100 rims. Oh, this is cool. It all actually looks... Those valves haven't changed, by the way. The video, like the actual image for the valves and the displacement stuff hasn't changed. But I like the way it's all a little bit more sort of simplistic, I suppose. Cool. I like this. It feels weird to experience all this again, because it changed so much in Forza Horizon 2 as well. Let's whack a sport exhaust on and just see what it feels like. And obviously we've got like handling. They did still have conversions.
Now here's where we do the real serious stuff.
Yeah.
You want a bigger engine, forced induction for your classic, whatever you want, we can deliver.
Oh, go Shelby now. These are the cars that I have. Not much. Now, one big thing about this game was at the very beginning, you were actually... So at the very beginning of this game, free roam was locked. You had to get a certain wristband to unlock free roam. Whereas now, in Forza Horizon 6, and in later games, they ditched that and you can go free roam straight away. I kind of feel like it's nice, you have to earn free roam. You sort of have to learn the ropes of the game before you're able to play, I suppose. Oh, it sounds so much better. The engine sounds of this, again, they sound actually real. But I think it's so cool that you had to unlock free roam. Because it kind of feels like you've learnt the game, you had to earn your way, and then when you're out there with everyone else, you know they've all had to do the same thing as you. There's a relatively even playing field. Can you stop getting in my way? It's the same guy every time. Also, I think the player base in Forza Horizon 1 was a lot better than the player bases in Forza Horizon 5 in terms of how they played the game. Like now, you'll just see a bunch of 12-year-old kids flying down the road in like 12,000 horsepower cars that they've built. Whereas in this game, everyone was a little bit more sensible. It was a little bit more regulated, and that kind of, I think, gave it that iconic feel. Woo! Now, one thing I do want to say, and it's about traffic. In this game, traffic was a lot more chaotic, a bit more aggressive, not as well regulated, hence why sometimes they'll brake check you for no reason. And I think that's one of the things, if they'd managed to not do that, this would have been great. Oh my god. Now, a little bit of story. So at the beginning, it was actually quite a risky gamble to make a real world, like open world spin-off, because they didn't know if it was going to work or not. They didn't know if it was going to be great, and honestly, I think back then, if they could see what it was going to become now, I don't think they would have believed it. Like, Forza Horizon is now probably the most well-known and the biggest racing game in the world. Or biggest driving game in the world, really. you know, it's got its staple piece in history. Whoa. It's got a staple piece in history, hasn't it? It's going to be going down in gaming history for years. They push the limits every time. And I think if anybody else, other than Playground and Turn 10, had tried to make this game, it wouldn't have gone down as well as it did. I think it's because they had so much experience with Forza Motorsport that this game was just like a walk in the park for them. Hey. And obviously, having had Forza Motorsport be basically their main standing point from this point, multiplayer was very limited. Like, yes, it had multiplayer, but it wasn't this sort of, you know, do whatever you want thing that we have today. Like, it was very basic, very restricted, very limited. Ooh.
I'm hearing there's a barn find over by Finley Dam. The area is marked on your map.
Again, these, right, barn finds were absolutely revolutionary when this game first released. Along with showcase events as well, which I mentioned in one of my previous videos.
In 200 meters, keep left.
Also, the sat-nav actually sounds like a sat-nav. Ah! Oops. Hang on. What I also really liked about this game was it was a bit of like a movie in a way. There was the protagonist and the antagonist. Now, the antagonist was Darius Flint, and if you wanted to become a Horizon champion, basically be the leader of the festival, you had to beat him. In the most recent games, you're basically already the festival champion anyway, and so it's a bit boring. I mean, Hall of Fame kind of changed that, but not really, and I feel like having an actual final boss in this game was really, really cool, and I wish they'd brought that back. And maybe they will with this new campaign as a tourist. Maybe you will have to go through and beat the big boys. Hopefully, because that would be really, really good. And I think it's what gives games like Red Dead Redemption's campaign. You know, every good campaign has an antagonist, and that's something that's ever so important. No, I have a feeling that's one of the main reasons why, like as you can see there, that car just stopped. But I think it's one of the main reasons why the recent campaigns haven't hit at all for anybody. Is because of that.
Turn right.
If you can tell, I'm not used to playing on the controller, I play on the steering wheel. So this is a bit weird. Fun fact for you all, someone who went to my college, well, a long time before me, but someone that my tutor taught when I was at college, actually designed the car models. So, little fun fact for you. Personal connection. I think people understand just how much effort it took to make this game. Especially not knowing if it was going to work or not. Is probably a major thing. It must have been quite fun to work on, but also, yeah. Also, Forza, this is what we mean by tight mountain roads. Not 20-lane highway mountain roads. We mean these, where it's so difficult to actually, you know, control the car through them. This is what we mean. Go back to your roots. Remember who you are. This is the sort of stuff we want. Man, this game is so good. Also, the soundtrack in this game, and I know I can't really show you, but it was such a big deal. Like, having actual licensed artists, having DJs on the radio, even having radio stations was such a big thing, because there wasn't many games out that had radio stations, let alone like racing games, for example. Like, yeah, GTA maybe, but you know, maybe games like GTA, but not any racing games, you know, where you have that feel, where it's open world, it's festival related, and there is radio stations based on that festival with licensed artists. And we got to remember, at this time, GTA was one of the that was coming out at the time, wasn't it? GTA 5 was already a big major franchise. This was a brand new game. So the amount of stuff they actually managed to pack in this game was outstanding, and I think that's why Forza Horizon has the credibility, and why, despite the last couple of games being a bit meh, people keep coming back because they know what Forza can really do. Also, I think even down to the naming of this game was quite cool. Like Horizon, Forza Horizon is such a cool name. Like Need for Speed, it sounds a bit like a mobile game at times, to be honest, but this sounds, it sounds proper, it sounds interesting. It makes you think, what's that? And go back to the campaign, what I meant about with the antagonist is like, it's a bit like, for example, every Assassin's Creed game that was out at the time, like 3, you know, 2, they've all got antagonists. That's how a good campaign is built. Now we've got to find this barn find. How are we going to do that? Okay, that's enough revs. It's got to be around here somewhere. That ain't happening.
In 200 meters.
Okay, I have no clue where this barn find is. Also, despite their motorsport heritage background, Forza Horizon didn't have the tuning options of the modern games. There wasn't as much fine-tuning you could do to cars aside from basically the basic upgrades. Which in some ways, as I mentioned earlier, was kind of nice, kind of cool. But I quite like the new games where you can fine-tune because it gives people more creativity. And I mean, obviously at the time they probably didn't have the budget or know-how. But I think if they made a remastered game with the sort of, I suppose, limited upgrades of this one, with the fine-tuning of the new one, with a little bit of better graphics, they'd have a game on their hands for the ages. You know, they could easily remaster this game, not do too much to it, and it would probably be better than Forza Horizon 6. And I kind of hope they do remaster it. Yeah, this Mustang can't handle. Oh, this game's great. Also, you can tell that a English company made this game because the speed camera sign is literally just a speed camera sign whacked straight out of the English countryside. I do love that sim realism, like with the handling, like making it harder because the car's not supposed to handle, as well as like in an arcade game. And I kind of feel like they should have gone back to that sort of semi-sim, semi-arcade feeling, but more simulator biased, I suppose. So each NPC racer sort of had their own personality, and you actually got to know the driver behind the wheel, which gave Forza Horizon 1 a bit more of a story mode feel than the more recent ones. Now, when I say story mode, I mean like it had like a whole, you know, you come to the festival and you want to beat everyone, and then you get to know who everyone is. In the later games, you just go into a race and they're already in the car. You never learn about them. Like that little comment that they made when we raced at the beginning of this video. You wouldn't get that in the later games, which I think was really nice that was a thing at the beginning, and I wish they'd just bring that back, because they can make this 100 times better, and I hope they do it in Forza Horizon 6. It gives you more of an incentive to win, I suppose. You get that natural hatred for your rivals, which is what you should always have. It almost feels like Forza Horizon 1 had a bit more of a Fast and Furious feel in a way. Like there was someone who was bad, and there was someone who was good, aka you, and you wanted to fight to win, and when you were with your friends it was like your little crew. And Forza Horizon 1 launched with 200 cars, which for at the time was crazy. But if you compare it to Forza Horizon 5, it's like 700 cars. Or Forza Horizon 6 is 550 at launch. It's tiny, really, isn't it? You can see just how well they've grown. But they've grown a lot, but they've almost lost a bit of that natural feel that made Forza Horizon so good. And a lot of these roads are actually based on real roads, that's why they're so good. Whereas, although the Japan map is based on the real Japan, some of those mountain roads aren't as tight as they should be. They haven't actually based them properly on some of the best driving roads. And that's why roads like this one feel so natural. Yeah, get off the road. Feels so natural, if you get what I mean. And also, you earn little things for extra ranks, like this G-Shock rank, Drift Challenge. You earn credits for it. So you could go around the map and you could earn credits and XP just for doing little things, which you don't really do in the new games. Which means you've actually got an incentive to drive. However, that is coming back in Forza Horizon 6. So hopefully, it's going to have that Forza Horizon 1 feel, or maybe they have almost gone back to their roots a little bit more. And you can see what I mean by roots in my other videos now watching this. There was no rewind, not as many assists, so the game was harder back then, so you actually had to master it. Back to that Fast and Furious inspiration, at the beginning there was actually like cutscenes that were inspired by Fast and Furious, which is quite cool. Another really cool thing about this game was the sponsor challenges. They actually had real life sponsors like GoPro and Adidas and Rockstar that meant that you actually had challenges to go through. You know, these are like real things. It makes you feel like you have sponsors, like real life sponsors that are wanting you to win. It's crazy, really, when you think about it. Also, Forza Horizon 1 was very basic. The roads were designed for speed. Now, in later games, like Forza Horizon 5, for example, you've got props, right? There's jumps, in the middle of roundabouts, you leap over things. This game was just designed to drive. You just drove and raced each other. I think that's like the 12th time I've lost that rear spoiler, and I ain't getting it back now. Also, it's so nice to see some of these cars in the game, because these common cars here were like prime, you know, this is like the prime era for modern cars. So all the best cars in the world are on this.
Great driving. You've hit 240th in the popularity rankings.
Can I hold it? Yes! Like, a lot of the modern cars these days in the modern games are not as good as the ones that we have now, I suppose. Right? Like, the cars in the game we have now aren't very good. Like, some of them are very basic, some of them are cool, but they don't have that same sort of feel that the cars in the early games had. And I think that's why people loved Forza Horizon 2 so much. And we'll see that next week when we actually do it, because it is so good. Also, the like checkpoint things look so much cooler in this than they do in the other ones. It feels like they had more passion when they made this game. Now, there actually was a few plans to bring police into this game, but they never did. And I'm so glad they didn't, because I think it would have just made it too much like Need for Speed, and it would have got eaten up into that world that didn't really work out as well as it should have done. Forza Horizon 1 also reused the engine sounds, as I mentioned, from Forza Motorsport 4, which means it was one of the best sounding games at the time. Xbox 360's hardware limited the game as well. Now, this may not sound that much, but it meant that we didn't get as big of an online multiplayer as we get now. We didn't get as much detail, and the map wasn't as big. And I think that's why Forza Horizon 2 was so much better, was because it was Xbox One based. Now, if you remember, the Forza Horizon 2 Xbox 360 edition was so limited that it was almost half the game for the same price, whereas Forza Horizon 2 on Xbox One was this whole new world. And I played that for the first time maybe a couple of years ago, because I was playing Xbox 360 before, and I was shocked at how much more there was to do. The destruction physics was quite cool. You know, the fact there was a lack of, should I say, like if you wanted to climb up a hill like this one over here, you actually like had to do it. You couldn't just go, I'm going to start over the other side and smash through that barrier, because if you see, in modern games I can smash through this guardrail. In this I can't, I'm stuck. I have to be tied to what they let me, which in some ways is bad, in some ways it's kind of cool. And unlike modern Forza games, which keep going on forever and ever, this game had an ending, and it was a good ending as well. When you beat Darius, it felt like a big achievement. It felt like the end of a movie. You know, you felt a sense of accomplishment, I suppose, something you've been working for the whole time. I don't know, man, this game was just so good, and it kind of makes me hate Forza Horizon 5 even more. And if they could even bring back the feel of this game in Forza Horizon 6, then they're on to a winner. But I feel like it's going to take them to remaster this game to sort of get back on the right track. It's going to take a lot for them, because they've gone so far off it that getting back on it is going to be very, very difficult. But I have full faith in them, and that they will fix it all up. Like, this was a game for the ages, and it almost holds up really well today. And if you want to see me play this game again, maybe go into a little bit more detail down the line, and a little bit later on in the game, a little bit later on in the future, let me know. But thank you so much for watching today's video. Hope you all did enjoy. If you did, remember to leave a like, subscribe. You know the rest. Everyone else told you millions and millions of times, I am sure. And yeah, I'll see you all in Forza Horizon 2 next week. And also, if you want to see me play through Forza Horizon 1 from start to finish, I think that could be arranged.
You see the drippy, I fit it up. Hop in my car and I get it up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.